The mental debate barely lasted, as Kevin decided to make a baseball scene, regardless of the circumstances. Cutting and pasting at a rapid speed, he finished before everyone else in the class. The collage resembled a baseball field with a large baseball in the middle, not close to the typical gift a third grader gives to his or her mother. His mother laughed when she took off the wrapping paper over the collage. She should have known to not expect anything from him not having to do with baseball. Hey now, you're an all-star. Get your game on. Go play. The words of the song All-Star by Smash Mouth constantly ran through Kevin's head. The older kids on the bus used to listen to it all the time, so he thought it would be cool to listen to the same song. The song has an upbeat melody and discusses all the qualities a person must possess to be considered an all-star. Kevin, with all of his wise qualities, knew that Smash Mouth could only be talking about baseball all-stars. The song raced through his head because he knew he would, too, be an all-star one day. When he walked up to the plate, Smash Mouth's voice rang throughout his head like an echo in an enclosed space. The upbeat song got him thinking about how good of a player he wanted to be and made him strive harder towards his goals. Any book a teacher assigned for Kevin to read would most likely not be read. He found the assigned books extremely boring because none of them had to do with baseball. Although Kevin didn't pay much attention in school and didn't read the assigned books, he still genuinely enjoyed reading. The only books Kevin would read were by the author Matt Christopher. Why would he only read these books? Matt Christopher only wrote about sports, mainly baseball. His series of over 50 sports novels intrigued Kevin and pulled him into reading like a fish on a hook. His favorite book by Matt Christopher was The Kid Who Only Hit Homers. Sylvester becomes a good baseball player who only hits home runs by the help of his imaginary friend, George. Sylvester has little confidence, but his meetings with George enable him to realize his true potential and gain confidence every time he steps out onto the field. The clean, crisp smell of freshly cut grass filled his nose like a green mucus-filled nose. The dirt held firm, previously raked by the coaches of the two teams. The beaming lights shined down onto the Andover field from the brisk night sky. Kevin stood at the edge of the dugout, anxious for the arrival of the 7 p.m. game time start. He looked ready to play with his white pinstripe pants and his solid black North Andover jersey. His belt looked professional, tied at 3 notches in. He had 2 solid lines of eye black under each eye to prevent the glare coming down from the lights. The championship district game had finally arrived, and Kevin had the duty of starting pitcher. Kevin retired the first 3 batters of the inning, striking out all of them. Andover's pitcher almost matched him, striking out 2 and getting Kevin to ground out. The cleanup batter for Andover hit a fastball thrown right down the middle by Kevin, all the way to the fence, and got a double. The salty sweat began to trickle down his face now as the game began getting more intense and the pressure kept building. Andover bunted the man over to third, and Kevin had only 1 out. He bared down and struck out the next 2 batters to get out of the inning, allowing no runners to score. The 2 pitchers continued to dominate the game until the last inning, where North Andover had the heart of their lineup coming up: Connor Walsh, Ryan Siflin, and Kevin. Connor led off the inning with a single, and Ryan bunted him over to second with 1 out in the inning. Kevin walked up to the plate, wearing his signature number 5, and the sound of Smash Mouth blaring throughout his head. He got set in the batter's box and intensely eyed down the opposing team's pitcher. The pitcher threw him 2 straight balls. Kevin thought to himself, was he scared? The Andover pitcher proved him wrong as he made him swing and miss on the next 2 pitches to force a count of 2 balls and 2 strikes. Kevin stepped out of the box and took a deep breath and told himself that he could not strike out. Kevin stepped back in and stared at the pitcher with an eerie confidence, and the pitcher stared right back into his glistening eyes. He got a fastball. The crack of the bat sounded as if a firecracker had just been set off. The ball carried high into the night sky and came soaring down over the fence. A home run! Kevin trotted around the bases in complete rejoice. Just like my dreams, he thought. He touched home plate just before all of his teammates could jump on him to congratulate the home run. He went back out onto the mound for the last inning and fashionably struck out all three batters to win the district championship. The elation and pride felt on that last strike caused him to toss his glove up in the air and remember the stories of his father and grandfather. This is way better than they ever told me, he thought to himself, as his team posed for pictures with trophies in hand. Baseball. The sound of the word or the thought of the game did something to Kevin that very few people can understand. The game gave him the opportunity to leave the routine world and enter a world of happiness and victory. His upbringing provided him with the backbone he needed to get involved in the game, and the knowledge to understand its concepts and be ahead of all his other competitors. Kevin accepted and embraced the fact that baseball ran through his bony veins. Baseball provided him with a place of sanctuary, a happiness and sense of purpose he felt nowhere else in his life. It called him to be the best he could possibly be, demanding outstanding individual and team performances. The game ran through his mind like a horse making the last turn at the Kentucky Derby. It came down to one simple fact. Kevin loves baseball, and it seemed as though it was starting to love him back.